soil reuse policy update. I think Millie might want to say a few words first before we go to the next slide. Do you have anything to add here, Millie, or do you want me to just jump in? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I'll just tee it up for you, Ken. Basically, so we are, and I promise you, we are very, very, very close to basically kicking this off via public comment process for everybody to review and comment. And we're titling this policy, interim policy regarding the reuse of soils at disposal sites regulated under the Mass Contingency Plan. And again, that shall be referred to as COM24. And just to remind everybody that this process, to achieve this, the purpose of this policy is really to provide for a process that will govern the importation of soils from donor sites that are also 21E sites into 21E sites. And it will be accompanied by criteria for how to accept these soils. And it will also have robust public involvement requirements. So with that said, let me turn it over to Ken, and then we can just touch base on a few more fine-tuned points on it.
Yeah, you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, as Millie said, the policy is this has been fast-tracked on a very short fuse, and it's going to be ready soon, like very soon, like this year. That's why it's still called COM24. But it's currently being reviewed by senior staff at the highest levels of the organization, including the commissioner's office. And in the simplest terms possible, it just allows and provides for the movement of contaminated soils from 21E sites to another 21E site at contamination levels that are higher than, for example, COM15 would allow for pits and quarries. We do anticipate, even though it is on a fast track, that we will have a public review period before this is finalized, and that'll be coming extremely soon once we hear back from the commissioner's office. Without getting into too much detail here, the major points are that the criteria is that it must result in the achievement of a permanent solution at the receiving site. So the movement of these contaminated soils into the receiving site, that receiving site still has to meet the conditions in the MCP for meeting no significant risk and the achievement of a permanent solution. The second major component of it is that there is a heavy piece of public involvement, obviously involved in this, because these are big sites. We don't expect there to be a whole lot of them, and we're looking at a minimum size of 250,000 cubic yards. So there won't be many of them, but there will be a lot of public involvement on whichever ones come up. And that's all I had. If not, Millie, you want to add anything more to it?
Again, I think the policy will be obviously articulating what we deem as both statewide and site-specific benefits that may be associated with the importation and reuse of excess soils at disposal sites. And really our goal is to say that we would be potentially establishing reliable outlets in Massachusetts. With that, obviously, comes reduction in greenhouse gas emissions associated with the transport of the excess soil out of state. And we know that there's significant competition out there, and sometimes, pushback from near states not interested in being the final repositories of soils. And one area that often has been identified through the site cleanup programs work, insofar as the recent round of MCP amendments was really articulating ways to enhance resiliency and protect against rising sea levels. And this might be a pathway for providing some of those, the source of materials to shore up our coastal sites, again, in a way that's responsible with an eye on ensuring that it's not in opposition of a condition of no significant risk, which is really the endpoint that we look for in permanent solutions. So, speaking of benefits, I recently had great conversation with a few LSPs in the LSP community and colleagues, and I want to call out specifically Chris Barnett who is a good colleague working in Michael Stiller, also working in the South Coast Rail. And I know that we may have a representative here that can speak to the benefits of soil, even if it's for 1 or 2 minutes. Katie Kutzma, she might be on the line.
Yes.
And I was just really pleased to hear that, again, anything we can do to attempt to reuse soils in a way that's responsible. And I'm just happy to report that in my past life as regional director in the Southeast region, we were really involved in this project, and it's been a resounding success. So again, not COM24 or COM15, but just another way to reuse the soil. Katie, I don't know if you'd like to report on that success.
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Millie. I do have a 2-minute soil reuse success story for anyone that's curious. So we've been working on the South Coast Rail project. It began in 2019, and once completed, it will offer a reliable transit connection between southeastern Massachusetts and Boston. So riders will be able to take a 1-seat trip, which means no transfers needed to this region for the first time since the late 1950s. And that includes adding 6 new stations and 2 layover facilities. So service is anticipated to start to the public by spring 2025. And as part of the project design, the MBTA developed a beneficial reuse approach to the management of soils with a goal of 75% reuse. So the team developed a holistic approach to the project, including the development of fill management plans, whereby the cuts and fills from the individual construction contracts will be consolidated across the program footprint. This approach was integrated into each of the construction contracts with milestones included for meeting the project's soil reuse metrics. And then excavated materials management plans were developed for each contract to identify reuse locations, as well as sequencing of the excavation, staging, and placement of the fill materials within the program footprint. And this planning effort was critical to the project's success and was routinely refined during project construction. Overall, soil reuse greatly reduced the environmental footprint of the project. By reusing soils within project limits, the project team was able to reduce consumption of construction aggregates and avoid sending excavated materials to landfills. Reduced importation and exportation of soils also minimize fuel consumption and associated emissions from trucking. So as we near the end of construction, the volume of excavated materials totals over 380,000 cubic yards. However, over 360,000 cubic yards of that has been reused within the project areas, which amounts to a final reuse percentage of 93.5%, exceeding our 75% goal. So only about 25,000 cubic yards of soil is required offsite disposal. Cost savings related to soil reuse are estimated to be in the range of $20 to $30 million for this project. So I just want to, on behalf of MBTA and Mike Stiller, LSP at AECOM, I just want to thank MassDEP for all the collaboration on the project, and certainly a success.
Thank you, Katie, so much. And MBTA and DOT, thank you so much for knocking on our doors, MassDEP, and being our great partners. And we know how critical transportation needs are in the Commonwealth, across the Commonwealth. And again, for the Eastern Mass region to be able to benefit, never mind providing reliable transportation options rather than using Route 24 in the morning, which is so crowded already, being able to provide this new outlet of transportation and also, do it in a way that's responsible and mindful of state resources and federal resources. Great job. And Katie, thank you so much for providing us with a very valuable update. And again, underscoring the benefits and highlighting the benefits of soil reuse. We look forward to working with you and everybody. And as we roll out COM24 very, very, very soon, we look forward to being able to have robust comments so we can move forward with finalization of this interim policy. Lisa, one of our advisors, thank you so much for raising your hand.
Oh, just a quick question. Is there any consideration to removing sort of that high volume requirement for this so that perhaps it could be, used at a wider variety of sites?
I think that's a comment you can definitely offer because we will be accompanying as we roll out the draft policy. We will be providing an introduction to that. We're just not going to have a here it is comment. we will be providing an accompanying presentation to that. So we will work very efficiently to get the word out that we'll host a meeting. We can answer questions, and then people can review and comment, and all comments will be read and, go through the reconciliation process. Thank you for that, Lisa. And Debra. Oh, go ahead, Debra. You're on mute.
My question is this, the permanent solution, does that include permanent solutions with conditions, or it has to be a straight permanent solution without conditions?
Oh,
Conditions.
it would definitely be with conditions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, you guys will all have the chance to comment on this very soon. You'll see the whole document with the appendices. It's a lot of information.
Yeah. We are also including an appendix that basically intends to have it almost like an administrative checklist approach, so that you can right there decipher whether your project actually is checking all the boxes for what we're looking for in terms of qualifying for an administrative consent order process to move forward with the actual adoption and use of the interim policy. So that, again, will be coming your way very soon. Thank you, Debra, for your comment. Okay. I don't see, Paul, do you see any more hands or something in the chat before we navigate into the next topic?
Nope, you're all set.
Okay, thank you. All right, next